Hey guys, it's me, Verruckt25, and quite recently, a DLC came out for Black Ops 3 for the Xbox One and for PC. Now, this DLC has come out about a month ago for PS4. Now, just by what you can see in the video at the moment, I'm currently highlighting over a map, which is actually the first of 8 classic maps that was remastered in a DLC 5, or in the DLC 5 for the game. And as you can simply guess, this is the DLC 5, also known as the Zombies Chronicles. Now, it is known as that these 8 zombie maps are the main maps known in the zombie storyline, going from Nacht der Untoten, which is, as you guys know, is the very first zombies map. We also have Verruckt, we have Shi No Numa, Kino der Toten, Ascension, Shangri-La, Moon, and Origins. So, what do these maps look like nowadays? Well, let's just see what they look like. So the first map we have in the list, of course, is Nacht der Untoten. This is the very first zombies map ever made. And okay, as you can see, of course, it is very highly graphic. So there you have the mule kick perk machine. In fact, it is the only perk machine in the game, or in this map even. To get the other maps, you'll need to, of course, use the Wonder Fizz that is in a different location. Of course, we have the mystery box over there, as we have already seen. It's in the usual place. It just like in the other place, it would spawn weapons for that game that are available in the game. Of course, it now includes some Black Ops 3 weapons. Of course, in the place of some of the older and other weapons in previous games, it now has some of the more weapons in this game. So it definitely seems quite a massive that's not even the term, massively have a makeup done to it in one sense. Okay, as you can see now, this is the upper floor. We have a couple on there. Right next to us over there is the Wonder Fizz machine. If you want to get a perk other than Mule Kick, you'll have to go to that. So if you're wanting Chug, well, you just have to chance it for that. Or if you want to use the same Speed or Widow's Wine, whatever. So that's the only side effect. And of course, around here you have the sniper cabinet. Just a quick little glance there. So it's definitely a bit of a new and a slight change to the map. Nothing major, of course. The glow, as we all know about the mission box. We have the frag grenade over in the corner. So yeah, there's a lot of there's a good bit of an improvement. The best way to say what I'm trying to say here is I could have a modern improvement on the graphics because of how the graphics appear now in nowadays Black Ops 3 games. But other than that, I think it's a very nice, more environmental change to how Nacht der Untoten is. And other than that, I think it's a pretty nicely laid out map. So of course, one thing I definitely want to point out is a lot of people have said, of course, that they have unknown marines in this map, which of course is kind of, I'm not too sure, because to be honest, I didn't exactly hear the storyline behind Nacht der Untoten, so I'm not too sure if the player I am currently playing as of right now in the game really is an unknown marine or not, but it doesn't really matter. It's still a fun zombie map to play on, one of the first to play. So of course, that's it for Nacht der Untoten. Now here, of course, we have a Verruckt, which is the German asylum map. Now this is, of course, just like Nacht, one of the very graphically improved map entirely. Some nice little effects of this, of the water dropping on you, which is the little swirly effect. Of course, the the weapons in general seem to be playing out pretty well. Of course, right there where the quick ride machine is one of the 2 spawn areas. This side does seem to be quite a bit more spacious compared to the other journey you can take to the box with the power. I mean, with the power just being near not that far from where we were from the top. So it does seem it's generally a little bit of a small map, but definitely the side that we are currently on, a bit more of the bigger side of it. So the as you guys know, with the power, of course, is it actually sort of merges the two spawn areas. So you can now have be on this side and the other side, which we shall see very soon in the map. As to be honest, there we go. I did do two recordings of this, to be honest. So the power is right over there. As soon as I turn, because hey, there we are. So right in there, and of course, as I mentioned, merges the two spots. So overall, Verruckt is pretty decent. Kind of does seem like a slightly small map, but hopefully when you have more than one player like myself, since I did this solo recording, it could be a lot easier. But other than that, it's not too bad of a map, and that's all I can really say for it. So hopefully it's good out there for you. Next, as you can see, we have Shi No Numa. We have a mystery box right there. This is, of course, is the building you start off in. Of course, honestly, when I first played this map, I originally thought, technically speaking, the middle building is so big it could be potentially its own map, which is a bit of an interesting thing to say. Here we have, of course, one of the 4 locations that's sort of leads out of that building. Fog rolling in, of course, which is the Shi No Numa's indication for hellhounds. Of course, right enough, easy. Like the first round of hellhounds, it was easy. It's easy enough to do. Because of the like hellhounds, as long as you have a decent gun. Shi No Numa, like as you'll see in a while, of course, it is very well known for its swamps, and the fact that yes, you do go slow in the swamps. I'm gonna point something out here. The Argus. Now the Argus, why is it put in a swamp area? Because like you're just gonna get slowed down, and why should you go get slowed down for, in all honesty, a pretty bad shotgun, to be honest. But trailing off from the shotgun, because that's not the point of this video, back into the main building we are, and now I'm going to another one of the quarters of the map. So there's a Wonder Fizz machine, and of course a nice little layout to one of the other quarters. This is on the other half of the map. There's another Gobblegum machine. This part, of course, looks like it had a vehicle driven right through the middle. Little shelter part there. Not too bad of a little area. And right here we get nice. We have a death machine. And enough. So yeah, not too bad of a map overall. As now, one thing I do just remember to point out is that this is the location of the Rising Sun facility, which is where Takeo was sent to sort of oversee operations, mainly in respect to, to like a research going on by on Element 115. If I'm correct, I kind of forget a little bit of that storyline. And here we have, of course, now this part of the quarter. So this is mainly a lot of swampland, and as per usual with the map, with a lot of sort of flooring. So that is Shi No Numa. Hope it's good for you guys. Woo! Next, of course, we have one of the more popular maps, Kino der Toten. This was honestly one of the more nostalgic throwbacks because of the fact that I had played this game with Python 12 and Victor Alfada, and Halo Ringer told me he feels like he barely played this game with us, which is interesting. But it definitely feels like it's a nice little bit of a throwback as to what we used to play together, before the fact this whole YouTube channel. And here we have the main big old area, the good old theater. Of course, we have power just behind the stage there, which allows us to turn on the teleporter, which you would stand in it, you link it up, and you have to run back to spawn, link the part there around, and then you can finally teleport. But this, and as you can see, chug back up there. As you guys know about the mystery box things. Okay, well, here we have, of course, let's go into the teleporter. I rambled on a bit of the box. Here's, of course, the Pack-a-Punch room with Halo-Ringer Pack-a-Punching one of his guns.
This will keep them at bay.
It was definitely nice and nostalgic to see all that Pack-a-Punch thing happening, taking place. As you can see, you know, you were able to do the usual of throwing grenades and shooting weapons from out on top. We used to, I remember doing this back with the other game of it. And so now about to teleport back anyways to wherever you were. And here, of course, I show up at the dentist's office, which is a weird location. Samantha's bedroom was another location you could go to. And here we come back before we come back to the map, and we are. And of course, in another game of it, to get another side of the map, I of course had the Reagan Mark II, which was kind of annoyed Halo Ringer. Of course, we have the map with the LEDs by each mystery box to say, hey, if the box is not here, here's where you go to instead. So of course, this map of course had the usual of zombies as of course the game is all about. It had the hellhounds, and it had those weird crawling, zombies that gave off a bit of a poisonous thing, and it was best not to run through where they died either, because the same thing would happen. So yeah, that is a pretty nostalgic map for you. Next, of course, we have is Ascension. Now, this map, of course, takes place, well, as you might know, it takes place during the same time as 5, because there is a scientist from the story of this map who goes to 5, and he starts chasing you for perks. And I only heard about that recently, to be quite honest. So this is, of course, the spawn location with the... Ow. I hit my hand off the tripod. I was out here because of a hand effort. I point out the fact that this is the spawn with that sort of anti-gravity spin. I can't remember the name of what you call that. Space machinery. Anyways, that's not the main point of Ascension, even though it's the Cosmodrome. Here we are on our way out into the main area. So run the this machine right there. Of course, a little look around of the area, so you guys know. Continuing on to another section of the map, even though I'm looking at zombie entrances here. This is, of course, outside the building that leads to power, and that one then leads up to that building. The stairs leads up to the building for the power. Here we are now in the power room with the mystery box right there, power over there. Next, nearby to the power is a switch for the Pack-a-Punch. Okay, and for the Pack-a-Punch, you need, of course, to do the landing pads. That is the first one. It is the B landing pad. So of course, this is by coming up from the stairs from beyond the building that has the power. Here is the second one. This is when you turn left instead of right, like we did after we came up from the spawn. So making our way now. So here, of course, now as you can see now is the F landing pad because of the sort of like letter F. You know, because sort of the letter D was with the other ones, which is why it was called the D landing pad. Or was it the B? Sorry, I may have mixed them up just there. I may have forgotten already. So to point out, this is the F landing pad. The lander is now coming in, and at this point, we will now be just one lander away after this. This is the third landing pad that is needed to be used. And after this, all you need to do now is, this is the D landing pad, yep, is head near to the power, flick a switch right there, and if anybody near to the Pack-a-Punch, which is this location, you'll see the rocket switch going off. Now, if you have any perks at some point in the game and the power is on, you will also be chased by monkeys, which is like the Hellhound's equivalent in this game, by the way. Just want to point that out. So this area opens up, you have a Gobble machine right there, and lovely Gloria hold, there is the Pack-a-Punch. Next, of course, we have Shangri-La. Now, of course, this is seen as the unknown location, and it is very jungle-like, of course, because it's in a jungle, and of course, this part was like a temple area, In this map, of course, there's like the underground caverns, which leads to the power. Definitely, this part was like had like a power which is quite different to how you turn on the power everywhere else. Definitely was an interesting map overall, like I've said for a few of the others. And the zombies are quite a bit more graphically improved, of course, as we're all aware, since of course it is the graphically improved in respect to how things would be for Black Ops 3. You have the LCAR-9 up there, the Juggernaut up there as well, so it's not that far from spawn if you take this way out, of course. Now just down as leading down there to your, which is right in towards Pike the 12, because it was this of course which was Pike the 12 and not Halo Ringer. So which is we're both doing this like split screen, so that's why you can also see Pike the 12's view on this. But of course, looking at my view, which is at the top, we get to back around. Now I had up the other way, so that's why I had to by the wall of the door there. Pack-a-punch is up there after you stand on the symbols, after you turn the power on. Here is, of course, the other side where you come from the spawn. Here we now are heading down towards the caves, the caverns, really. This is, of course, has that little water chute thing next to a mystery box. Now here we are leading to a can for a wall by. And now here we come to the power. Now, as I do want to point out, as you'll be able to see right here in a moment, as soon as I show it, there's two powers, basically both release water, which is an interesting and unique take, in my perspective, on the power for Shangri-La. Of course, we have napalm zombies, which causes up flames mainly. But yeah, overall, Shangri-La is an interesting, is a nice, neat ornament map. Hopefully you guys have fun with it too as well, by the way. Next is the moon map. Now this, of course, where you start off in sort of Area 51, where the Pack-a-Punch is, which surprised me for a start. And this part of the map is really, as you guys may be aware, is where rather than having rounds of zombies, you have these waves of zombies and hellhounds, and every time you hear a burr, it sort of course sort of sets off a new wave, and it sort of means every zombie now has the effects of round 2 or round 3 or round 4 compared to the waves. Now then, of course, we head straight up towards the actual map itself, which is Moon, of course. You grab the PES as soon as you can and press down to equip the helmet. And now we start. Now here we start wandering around outside of the moon's actual spawn, in one sense of speaking. And if you ever want to head Pack-a-Punch, you're going to have to head down to Area 51 and do the usual thing. So now, of course, we're working our way through so we can actually head in. So after a while we had enough points to work through. So now we okay, there's a Goblin machine right there. So me and Pike the 12, this was our first time playing this actually together, which is neat. I had played on this with Halo Ringer. So eventually we lead down to this area, which may be interesting and quite recognizable, because that there is the pyramid that you see after you complete the Easter egg in Der Eisendrache. So that is of course a very neat little connection between the two. Now here, of course, we're just continuing on further up. We're now coming to one of the biggest parts of the map, which, as you can see right now, is the dome. It is large. I could definitely gotta say, very big. Overall, wow, it is a large area. I really got to admit that. It is definitely one of the biggest big sections, and definitely shows that Moon is a massive map. Like, I only seen this a couple of times, and it was kind of a bit like, wow, this is in one sense, yes, you're kind of speechless in how big it is, but yeah. And then finally, of course, we now have the Origins map. Now, Origins, of course, is where the whole group of 935 meets and begins their whole process of what Group 935 does.
An explosion of such magnitude should surely
Here we are, starting to travel through the barracks themselves. Apparently, of course, if it takes forever, really, if you're doing this on your own, but I've only tried this with Killer and Hydrauf, like at separate occasions.
the chalk drawings appeared overnight.
Then, of course, as you travel in, you get to sort of move out of the barracks into this location, which has a gobble machine above. So, one thing that is interesting about this map, of course, is on round 8 is the Panzer, and in all honesty, we got very badly equipped for this cinematic force, because we only had the Mauser C96, which is where is these the starting weapon. Not that fun.
Feeling generous, are we?
Here we are now advancing out. So this is then the upper section, which is, of course, a biggie. Now there you have the
Did anyone just hear a little girl?
massive robots that walk
Her name
over
is
the
Samantha.
map. Thor,
We will
Odin,
hear her
and
again.
apologies to the fans
She will
of
not
the
stop.
Origins map. I forget the third.
Much
I think,
slowing me
the
down.
the third robot's name is F, but apologies if I'm wrong. Now, of course, this is one of the generators in the map. The other one being at the spawn, like was seen earlier. Of course, it was actually that when you do the generators, of course, that you have the knights show up. I got a bit of gameplay to show to you about that. Now this is just coming up onto the excavation. This sort of leads down in there. Didn't have enough points to get in there when I did this gameplay, but I don't find it massive, a bit of a biggie.
What does money have to do with
to
anything?
do that, of course. So now I'm just about to head back to the spawn location to show you the whole the sort of enemies that show up
First
when you
mistake.
do the
Who's
generator.
touching me? Your second was sticking around. Bring up these
Like
conversion
so.
generators
So of
means
course
we
it's
stand a
going
better
to turn
chance
them
of
on.
survival.
This is of course one of the knight soldiers, and as you can see here is another just down. Who else went down? 9-12. Bummer. Here of course I got zombie blood, which is another big thing I wanted to point out about this map. It is just like in plain sight, except that it lasts much longer. In plain sight lasts for only 10 seconds, but as you can see, we're pretty much now going overboard at 10 seconds. And Origins is a pretty big map. Of course, you have the staffs, just like you have the lightning bows for the durability rocket, but each of these staffs can be upgraded. And that really there is Origins. Whee! Alright guys, that's really it for the Zombies Chronicles video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and seen all the 8 remastered maps in one video. It was really just to see, of course, what the whole thing was like overall, together with the whole graphically improved things, which I did point out in nearly all the maps. Of course, some of it did seem like nostalgic, like Kino and all that, and many of the others were interesting, to be honest, with Shangri-La having a slightly different way how the turn on the power worked. But other than that, very happy out that I have Zombies Chronicles. It now adds a lot more maps to the whole ensemble, or however you pronounce the word, of maps that can be played together. So that's really it for me, Rosava 25, and I'll see you at the recruits. Blue Nova out.